I have some cleaning to do because I just spent like 2 billion seconds looking. Honestly, that might be incorrect, but I just spent a while looking for this stand that I have for my microphone, like a desk stand, and it was right in front of my face the entire time. I go through and I'm a pretty organized person, but I got the thing down from where I usually use it, just complete autopilot. And because I have like this modular setup based on what I have around me and what to work with. And I just spent so long looking for this thing, trying to just set up this morning to record. And here it is, right in front of my face. So, that's that. I think these things are funny. Funny little insights. Funny stuff happens. But. Presence is really important. For men, for guys, for everybody you're ever really going to meet. We've talked about presence before, and it's something that I have found extremely vital and crucial and highly valuable inside of the workplace, inside of my own life, inside of my own business, inside of family, inside of friendships. Presence is so important. And words kind of fall short a lot of the time when I'm trying to stress and explain these principles and ideas. I feel like I use a lot of the same words. I need to expand my lexicon. But this is something that really needs to be paid attention to. I had a client recently who ended up not working with me anymore. They were like, we can't work with you anymore. Like, we need to make some budget decisions and some budget cuts. They wanted the podcasting help. They wanted the stuff. I talked about that in my last episode. And so they were like, we just gotta, we can't do it anymore for right now. So I guess they're taking the podcast back over themselves. But when they were looking for a new person that they wanted to help with their podcast, they wanted help with a podcast. I had the solutions. I had the answers. I was the person. And I ended up getting them as a client, and I ended up being able to build a relationship with them because what they wanted to begin with was presence. They had just moved away from like big, massive kind of podcast production. And I helped them simplify their process. I helped them redesign everything in ways that would be easier for them. We still use their process for creating stuff, and that wasn't my favorite way of doing it. And so in the future, I'm going to help people with that because live and learn. And now that's experience that I have under my belt. It's something that I've learned and I can take into the next job, into the next opportunity, into the next relationship that I have with my next client. People want you to be personal. They want you to be connected with them. They want smaller creators now online, and they want smaller businesses too. It's a whole big thing now. And so these guys did not want a big agency. They wanted someone who was going to be a smaller person, who was going to be easier to work with, easier to get a hold of, someone who they could have a personal, close working relationship with. And that was really nice for me too, honestly, because it allowed me to be able to just be myself in the working relationship. Obviously still business, still professional, of course. But it takes off that pressure for me. And for them, it's allowing them to be able to just connect with me in a genuine way. And it's allowing us to get work done together in a genuine way. And I loved their mission. I loved what they were doing. It was really awesome. So you take hard knocks sometimes. Sometimes you just end up, something good happens and it goes away. Nothing lasts forever. And like I said the last time, all you can do is build on stable ground and continue to work as you are going through, as you're making these changes in your life based on what's happening around you. Because you can't control anyone other than yourself. But that's the whole point here, is that when you're being present, if you're having presence, then you were going to be able to control. My brain's doing like 3 different sentences at the same time. That's usually what happens. I have like 3 different things happening in my brain at the exact same time, and I have to choose which one I want to say. Because it goes lots of ways. Where do I want to take this? That's a learning curve for me too. That's a learning journey. That's something I need to continue working on in my speaking voice because it's gotten better. I've been doing this for 4 years. Where's my pencil? And that's the whole point. You need to have presence as you're working and as you're building to get better and better and better. And what happens is that people see that inside of their relationships with you, and they say, oh, this is someone who's dedicated. This is someone who is on top of things. This is someone who really has his head in the game. And then you get respect from that. People respect that. For me, sometimes the hard part is just like, well, you're young. You don't know everything. There's a lot of experience you haven't had yet. Even if you are someone like me who's had a ton of compound experience, there's just stuff you haven't learned yet because you haven't been exposed to it yet. And so you have to have patience in that regard. Jesus had to grow in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and with men. And that took a long time. He didn't start his ministry until he was in his 30s, right? So there's a lot of waiting and a lot of patience that has to go into building presence and learning about it. But the very act of trying to be present, even despite things you don't yet know, creates for you a reputation of being someone who is honorable, integrable, trustworthy, and someone that other people know they can rely on because you have your head in the game and you're thinking about other people more than just yourself. And other people love, and respect that. It's a respect thing. We as men want respect. And when you're being present, you are building respect for yourself. And part of that is by respecting other people. Like I said, these guys they were looking for in their next hire, in the next person they were going to pay to help them with this podcast thing that they were doing. They wanted someone who was present, ultimately. And that was the person. And so I got that job. I got that opportunity because I'm a present person and because I was being present. But if you were present, the moral of the story is, metaphorically, you will get the client. You'll land the deal. You'll land the sale. You'll close the sale. You'll be able to get out of life more of what you want simply because, from a very honest, proper, integrable perspective, you are a genuine person. And people see that, and that makes them want to help you out more. If they're good people. Bad people, on the other hand, take advantage of this. I've seen it over and over and over. Bad people do take advantage of good people. But that's where you learn street smarts, and that's where you learn I maintain being a good person while also holding my boundaries. You really have to learn about boundaries if you're going to be this kind of person. But that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have the ability to be smart and also gentle. Jesus tells us that. So smartness, gentleness is a perfect balanced blend with power. If you have smarts, if you have gentleness, and you have power, you are an incredible man because you're being a godly man. Doing those things really does help you create for yourself a reputation that builds then the byproduct is honor and respect and dignity and trust and worthiness and admiration. That's what happened for me. I was able to get that and to do that and have that opportunity because I was being present. When your friends see that, I've made such good friends before because I've been present. I have made such good connections and relationships before, so strong too, just because I'm being present and I'm thinking about the other people more than I'm thinking about myself. I'm still thinking about myself and holding boundaries and having a good, proper relationship, but I'm not so self-focused and self-centered that I'm only thinking about myself in this relationship. I'm really trying to dive deep into their lives and their hearts and what it is they want and what it is they desire. And people see that and then they really actually do genuinely connect back with me. And it's hard for me personally when they don't, when that's just not how they operate, or you don't have enough time to have them come out of their shell in the same way. And then it's like, oh, well, I was putting in this work and effort and intentionality to be this person, and I wasn't receiving that. And so sometimes that can be hurtful, but that is what it is. And I think a lot of us experience that as young guys, just as men in general. But presence. You're being present in your work life. You're being present in your family life. You're being present in your personal life, being present in your relationship with God. If you are present, then what happens is you create a life where you're being cognitively aware of things that are going on. And now you're in control because now you have a front row seat into everything that's happening instead of just being a bystander watching your life happen to you, which feels disgusting. But when you actually take the bull by the horns, when you actually start living in a life of presence, and maybe I should make more content about how to actually do that, how to actually be that kind of person, because that was a conscious decision I had to make. I had to genuinely choose to be a present person because when you're young, life's not like that. And so you actually have to make the choice to be a present person. And it's a process. It's a journey. You can start just by thinking about this. This is entry level. Like, just start thinking about it. How can you be present in your lives? Where can you apply yourself in your lives in a present way so that you can start building trust, you can start building respect, you can start building a noble character and a noble reputation with other people, because that will ultimately benefit you in a way far greater than anything else you're going to do in life. Genuine, honestly. This is what you want to be remembered for, if anything. And what that should do is be a reflection of who you are as a man of God. That's who people are actually seeing. They're seeing this man of God. Not many people, not all people have words to put it to or believe in God in that way to be able to say, look, this is a man of God. But this is who you want to be. This is who you're aspiring to be already. I know that. And so presence is obviously, it's a good starting point. I had an amazing experience because I was being present. So, presence, presence, presence.